Hello students. In this video lecture we are going to explore the stack data structure. What are the characteristics of a stack? We can characterize a stack based on two characteristics. Number one, it is a linear list, which implies that the elements in a stack are all stored in a sequence. The second characteristic is whether we want to insert or delete in a stack, we are allowed to do it only at one end of the stack. We can't do it at both the ends or in the middle. It's only at one end of the stack, which is defined as the top of the stack. As a result of this, whenever we add a number of elements, when we want to remove an element, we have to be removing the most recent element that was entered into the stack. For example, if you insert 5, 10, 15 and 20, and when you want to remove them all the numbers, then the removal will happen in the reverse order. That means 20, 15, 10 and 5. And this reverse attribute of a stack makes it to be referred as a LIFO data structure, last in first out data structure. So with these two characteristics, we can identify all other characteristics and operations of a stack. So all operations of a stack have to be confined to these two restrictions. Before going to the operations, we are just presented some real life examples, like when you place books on top of each other, then at any point of time, the last book that was recently entered must be at the top, and it is also the one that we take out first. So going by the normal natural tendency, we used to remove the book that is at the top of the hierarchy. So this characteristic is what adopted in the stack data structure, and it's also known as a restrictive data structure because the operations are restricted to the ends of the structure. Now the operations. The first operation is called as a push operation, but it's nothing but an insert operation. A push operation is just a term used to refer to a insert operation in a stack. And as we had already seen that we can only insert at the top of the stack. So whenever the stack is empty, the top will be a 0. The initial value of top might be 0, and when you want to add the first element, it will be incremented, and then the new element will be inserted at the position of the stack. Similarly, every subsequent insert or push operation will first increment the top and then put the new data into that spot. This will continue until you reach the end of the stack, which is a state called overflow state. So overflow state means that there is no space for any new data to be added, and it is full. So it is stack full condition. So that is a beyond that element cannot be added. But this will only occur if you are implementing a stack using array data structure. But if you implement it using linked list, then the overflow state won't occur for a stack. This just shows how the push operation happens. It's all happening at the top. The next operation is the deletion operation or removal operation, and here it is called as a pop operation. So a pop operation is also similar to the push operation. We can only remove elements which are at the top, and just like there we may have overflow state, here we may see underflow state. That is, you have deleted all the elements, or the stack is currently empty, and if you attempt to delete an element from an empty stack, then it's termed as a underflow state. And there is these are the two primary operations which are necessary for a stack: push operation and pop operation. And we can add some additional operations which are not the basic operations. They are just some additional operations which have been provided here. stack top. So if you want to know what element is currently sitting at the top, this operation can be implemented. It will just return the top position, value at the top position to the user. That's all. Now coming to the implementation, the stack can be, as I said, can be implemented either using an array or using a linked list. And as we have we have already come across in the initial lecture itself, that this particular subject is going to be adopting the linked list based implementation rather than the array based implementation for the advantages of a linked list. So for a stack also, we will be seeing the stack linked list stack implementation based on a linked list only. So if you are familiar with the linked list implementation based on the previous lecture, then the simplest thing you can do to make or convert the normal linked list into a stack implementation is that you just modify the insert operation such that all the inserts only happen at the front of the linked list. So in a normal linked list, you can insert at the front, middle, or at the end. You just remove the options for inserting at the end or middle, and then it will become a stack implementation. So the node structure of a stack will also be similar to the linked list structure. So here also we will have a head pointer, and we will be having a data node, and the data node will have the data variable and the link pointer. So everything is going to be same with respect to a linked list, except that what difference which I mentioned, that you should only allow insertion at the front of a linked list, then it becomes a stack implementation. Similarly in deletion also, in the original implementation of the linked list, the deletion can happen either at the front, middle, or at the end. You just remove the code which allows you to delete from middle and end, then it's a pop operation for a stack. I would like to show you a simulation of the push and pop operations. Let us assume that there is an empty stack. So in such case, the top is initialized with -1. Remember that in terms of an algorithm point of view, the empty stack will be having the top value as 0. But I am considering this in terms of a C programming implementation, because in C, 0 is also an index of an array. So to indicate that the stack is empty, I have lowered the value to -1, so that when it is incremented to 0, the value will be inserted at the first index. So the top is -1. At this stage, I'm going to insert 23 by invoking the push operation. So what will happen? Step 1 is you have to increment the top and check whether the top value is less than the size of the stack, because overflow. So if it is implemented in an array, then you must also take care of the overflow possibility or the stack full possibility. But it is not necessary in the case of a linked list implementation. Actually, for our syllabus, we have to be implementing the stack using linked list, so we don't need to bother about the stack full condition. Next step is the data gets added into the top position of the stack, which is index 0. Again, I'm going to insert another value at top 1, next value 67, increment the top, and then add the data. So in this way we can keep incrementing all the values. So every time we try to insert a new value or we push a new value, we will increment the top, and then we will put the data into the position of the top. What if we try to delete a value using the pop function? A pop function does not require any parameter, because it is always going to delete the top element. So there is no option provided to us to select the value to be deleted. By default it will delete only the top element. So the only thing we can do is that we may store the return value into the variable and display it to the user, so that he will know what is the value that was deleted. So whenever you invoke the pop function, it will refer the top position right now, which is 2, and then delete the value which is at that particular index. So the value is deleted, and also the top is decremented. And if we further delete 14 and 23, then the top will once again become -1. So this is how the push and pop operations can be implemented on a stack. We have the two basic algorithms which are the push and pop operation, but we can also add some other algorithms into that. We will see the algorithms. First, the create stack algorithm. Create stack algorithm is for creating the initial memory for the stack. Allocate memory for the stack head and initialize count to 0, and the top also initialize with null. Next is the push stack operation. So the algorithm will have these possibilities: insert into an empty stack, insert into a stack with the data, and insert into a stack when the available memory is exhausted. We have already dealt with the first two conditions in the linked list operations: inserting into a empty linked list and inserting into a stack with which already has some, or inserting into a linked list which already has some elements. So we just can reuse the same code here, and with the restriction, as I mentioned, that you should only include the code which inserts at the front or as the first element, so that it will be maintained as a stack. Similarly, you have to implement the delete operation to delete only the first element in the linked list or the stack. The third condition is not going to be, we are not going to experience it, because the memory is gets exhausted only if you go on to add millions of values. So it's not so important for our implementation. This is the algorithm for the push operation. Allocate the new node and then store the data into the new node and make the current top node the second node. So whatever the value that is currently the number one value, first node, which is pointed by the head, make it to be the second node and insert the new node at the top and increment the stack count. Pop stack operation is for the deletion. Again, it's going to be done at the top of the stack only. So here is the algorithm. If stack is empty, see, though the problem of stack full is not going to occur in the linked list implementation, we have to consider the possibility of stack being empty. So we have to check whether it is empty. So how do you know whether the stack is empty or not? It's done. We can either test whether the count is 0 or head is equal to null. So we will easily know whether the stack is empty or having some nodes. And the deletion is done in the else part. So to copy the data that is getting deleted, you can use a variable and copy the value into that and make the second node as the top node. So it's a reversal of the insertion. So now the second node is brought into the top node and the stack count is decremented. This function is if you want to know what is the current value at the top. It is just about returning the top element. So you just have to write a statement like stack return stack of top. To determine whether the stack is empty or not, we just have to test the stack count. If stack count is 0, then return true, else return false. Full stack is as I told, full stack is not necessary to implement in a linked list. If at all there is a memory shortage, then only it's applicable. How do you know the number of elements currently in the stack? We have the variable called the stack count. But if you don't maintain the stack count variable, then how do you find out whether the how do you find out how many elements are in the stack? You try to implement an algorithm for this particular task. That is, you want to know how many elements are there in the stack, and you don't maintain any stack count variable. So how will you how do you count the number of nodes? Destroy stack is like you just remove the stack, and for removal you can simply change the head to null value. So if you assign null to head and count to be 0, then indirectly you would have destroyed the stack, because once when you lose track of the stack by erasing the head pointer, automatically the stack nodes will be recollected by the memory management, and that memory will be reused for some other application. So that is the end of that particular stack. So with this we are completing the stack data structure. It's a very simple data structure having some two basic characteristics, and we just have to maintain those two characteristics in the operations, which we discussed in this video. Now your task is to modify the linked list program so that it becomes a stack implementation of the linked list. Thank you.